Hi, Mark Gilbert here. Thanks for clicking in. For the next few minutes, we're going to be talking about the topic, build bridges, not walls. Like all our videos here, they're designed to give you tools and ideas to assist with our spiritual evolution. Hope you find it useful, and if so, I'd love it if you click that subscribe button and let YouTube know that you like the videos we're making here. So when you hear the term build bridges, not walls, I suspect there's two ways you could go with that statement in your mind. One is politically, looking at it as some sort of commentary on Donald Trump and his desire to build a wall between the United States and Mexico. And the other way is to see the phrase as a commentary on where we're spending money on the infrastructure in the United States. Are we spending money on building a wall when it might be better spent on items such as shoring up our highways and bridges? And although that phrase could certainly be taken either of those ways, that's not really the intent of this particular video. When I'm using the phrase build bridges, not walls, I want you to consider it in two other ways. The first is to recognize that we have an inner sense of where we want to go in our life, both individually and collectively, and we look at that desired outcome versus where we are currently in our lives as an individual or collectively as a culture. And when we look at the gap that exists between where we want to be and where we currently are, then that gap is best covered by the sense of building a bridge from here to there. That is, we don't want to wall off the highest potential future for us, but rather we'd rather build a bridge between our current circumstances and the desired circumstances. In fact, that's the meaning that I initially was using for my website and my publishing firm, Conscious Bridge, when I came up with that name back in 2010. I was using that phrase to recognize that there is this gap between our desired future and our current state of affairs, and that the way that we were to overcome that gap was to consciously make the right choices that are going to lead us to that future. And so that meaning of the term build bridges, not walls, still holds validity to this date. But the second way that I want you to look at that phrase is energetically with us as humans, that we tend to have a viewpoint in our life about, are we connected to things out there and other people, or are we separate from them? Do we want to take the actions that build a sense of connectedness to other people, or do we wish to create in our mind's eye and energetically barriers between us and other people? So another way that you can use the phrase build bridges, not walls, is to think in terms of your interconnectedness to all of the people that are around you. And in your everyday state of affairs, in both your consciousness and in your actions, are you building a bridge with the other people around you? Are you building a bridge to the rest of the world that you're experiencing? Or are you putting up a wall around yourself, energetically and emotionally, that keeps you from feeling that sense of connectedness? I'm calling you in this moment to build bridges between your current life and the life you desire, and between yourself and the world around you, and not wall off those things from you. So the next logical question would be, how do we actually go about building those bridges and not putting up those walls? How do we go about moving from where we currently are to the state of life that we would like to experience? And how do we go from feeling a sense of separation to people and things around us to a sense of connectedness to them? Well, there's really two key steps that you need to take in terms of both of those outcomes. And the very first one is to set the intention, to become aware of where you currently are. Where in your life do you recognize a current state of events that's less than what you want? When you sit down and think about the life that you'd like to experience, and you paint a vision of it in your mind's eye or journal about it, where you simply say, here is where I see the highest and best expression of my life, both as this individual person moving through this 21st century, what am I called to do and be? And where am I in relation to that? So the very first step is recognizing that gap. in that, where are you putting up walls between you and where you'd like to be? Where are these walls occurring in your personal life, with the relationships that are around you, or maybe with the expression of your desire to give your unique talents and abilities to the world, where you feel a calling to express yourself? Where are you politically putting up walls to disconnect you from other people? Where are you feeling a sense of maybe prejudice towards others that builds a barrier between you and them? Where are you feeling fears? So the very first step is that awareness, asking those inner questions in your meditation, in your journaling, just in sitting down and thinking about it, about the gap between your current experiences and what you'd like to experience, both individually in your life and then collectively in our social life. Once you've identified those gaps and the areas where you're building walls, the next thing is to set a course of action. Think of the specific things that you can do that are going to be bridge builders. Where can you build bridges in your relationships with other people where currently you're putting up walls? Where in your dealing with emotional issues perhaps you've had in your life are you not willing to look at those aspects of your life because they're difficult to face, but breaking down the wall between you and your shadow and instead building the bridge to bring you into a state of wholeness by absorbing that shadow and understanding it's how it served you? Where in your political beliefs have you continued to create a state of differentness between you and other people so that you build a wall between you and them? And even no matter what your political beliefs are, very much we can look at the polarization in today's America and recognize that many of us are defining many people who believe differently from ourselves as the other. Are you doing that? In the sense that anything that you're doing that is polarizing us politically is actually building a wall. Even if you may not be for walls, you may be building one inadvertently. And what can you do that would actually bring down that wall and build a bridge between you and people who think differently from you, who have a different worldview from you, who have different political beliefs from you? There are actions we can take every day that are bringing down the barriers and the walls and erecting the first steps that move us on that bridge to connecting us with other. And for each of us, it's a different step. But I'm calling us each in this video and this day to move to a place of bridge building. Ultimately what we're talking about is love. It's moving away from fear and into a state of love. Because love actually is the energetic force within each and every one of us that calls us to build the bridges of connectedness to other human beings. So this day I know that we are moving into a state of wholeness and a state of bridge building, and we're taking down those walls that we've lived with. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to leave me a comment, especially if you've got any suggestions on how you're building bridges and breaking down walls in your own individual life. And if you've got a topic for future videos you'd like to see me cover, be sure to drop me a note at the email address listed on the screen. Thanks for watching. Till next time. Hey, one more quick thing. I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. The link is down there on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Also, there's a related video you might want to watch. It's right next to my face. And if you like this video, be sure to click like and leave me a comment on YouTube. Thanks.